Strap yourselves in, it's a biggin', not just because this is a battle featuring the Ogres, but because it's one of the biggest 1v1s I've ever casted on this channel, and it is the final of the Warband series. So some of you guys may remember I casted a bunch of replays from this Warband series, both myself and others. Yeah, this is the culmination of all of that. The two most powerful, strongest, bestest warbands facing off in the final. Where originally I was supposed to fight in a free-for-all with Gepadors here and a couple of others, Shetland Apache and Regina. We were supposed to all fight in a free-for-all, but the final boss time bested us all. And considering Gepadors had beaten all of us, including myself, he's the only one in the group that had actually beaten me, we decided to just vote him on through, face off against Flying Taco's very strong Ogres army, of course led by renowned Ogre chef Guy Fieri. These guys are here to eat your lunch. They're up against the Plan Afloat, led by the Commodore Ribbit, the Slan here. Yes, Gepador is going for a very naval theme, appropriate with the sort of sea green color scheme here. But taking a look at these massive armies, we've got a high Slan here leading the way, Commodore Ribbit. He's got a Dread Saurian, which is going to be healed by one Rev Crystal, one Feral Bastiladon. Cohort of Waddle. Got some Saurus Spears and Shields. Got more Croxagors, Horned Ones out on the flanks, with some Cold One Spear Riders, bunch of Skinks all over the place of different varieties. The Ogres, of course, got plenty of Bulls, got some Iron Guts in here as well. It looks like a Iron Blaster. We've got a Stonehorn there, some Crushers with Great Weapons in the back, Saber Tusk Pack. Got some Man-Eaters here, the Specialists, and Butcher as well, of the Great Maw, of course. I forget these characters' names. Shetland Apache will probably fill in the names down in the comments below. He's also got a few of these new Noblar Flingers. Haven't really talked too much about these guys on the channel, but they are a low-tier slinger. Available now for the Ogres, essentially equivalent to like a Skate and Slave Slinger, more or less. Anyway, yeah, huge battle here, given the funds. We've got some Vultures, also Blood Vultures, and it looks like even Gorgers moving in on the side, so we're going to keep a huge, wide view as we watch some of this engagement play out. Already the front line of Skinks taking some shots here, taking some leadership damage, but big boy Feral Dread Saurian charging on in frontally. Guy himself is going to respond and countercharge there, while the Skink cohort get pounded by, Iron Blasters, Lead Belchers even, Stonehorn. Yeah, they do throw some Javelins at the Lead Belchers, get some damage in at least, but the slope here, they're more or less fighting on even footing, even though there's a gradual slope sort of down in this direction, which does mean, the specific angle of the charges helps a little bit. Both these charges look like they're kind of going uphill as the Cold One Spear Riders just smash those Pigback Riders, and then in turn are probably going to get smashed by those Crushers. We've got a giant shield of the old ones, banishment combination here in the center as Dread Saurian puts a beat down on Guy Fieri, but Cohort of Waddle taking some pretty serious range damage from the Iron Blaster and the Lead Belchers. Lizmen so far have not been able to penetrate and get in position to shut down those Lead Belchers in a meaningful way. We've got a few mobility units kind of out here on the side. Of course, with these huge battles, it is quite a lot for players to manage. But the Horned Ones here get into a pretty unfavorable engagement. They're going to outclass the Saber Tusk Pack, and they certainly will beat down the Slingers, no problem. But you do have these Crushers closing from the side here. The range support from Pterodon Riders is not going to outweigh that. So definitely Ogres getting some good engagements on that far side. We do see some healing on the Feral Dread Saurian, trying to keep them in the fight, but a lot of Salamanders set firing here as well. Get some good contact on those Iron Guts. The armor does help, certainly, against these Salamanders, but it looks like the Lizmen starting to break through on this left. They are kind of attacking uphill here, but some Chameleon Stalkers took a wide flank all the way around, getting in position to come massacre those Lead Belchers with their precursor. Ooh, oh, that's unfortunate. They just used a bunch of their precursor bombs on those Noblars instead of the Lead Belchers, but yeah, that volley does it pretty solid, like quarter of their HP and damage, and the Chameleon Stalkers can run in and shut them down. But let's see. Certainly anyone's game still. This is unideal for the Lizmen, though. The Crushers, they are such a problem right now. They're getting back, getting on these Salamanders, getting some massive damage on a key ranged unit here. Really needs to pull back, but right now there's not really a lot of elements to screen them. Ooh, big old hit on the Horned Ones there. The Iron Blaster Yeah, it's got to be just feasting on value. Already 2,000 damage value with very dense targets, high-value targets to fire in at. Still got like half its ammunition left, and just, yeah, real force to be reckoned with for sure. The Feral Dread Saurian leadership having some issues. Balance of power swinging in the Ogre's favor, but let's see. The Lizardmen still, of course, have the high salon alive. Could try and stabilize things here as much as possible. Rev Crystal healing as well, so let's see what they're able to do. Feral Bastildon there. The Cold One Spear Riders, ooh, once again, getting an unfavorable engagement against the Crushers. Definitely rough, but let's see if perhaps some of these rallying elements Horde Lizardmen can get in here and help out. Does look like the Cold Ones are trying to pull away somewhat. Yeah, we've got some Noblars now breaking here. Ooh, let's see. The Saurian looks like he wants to tumble and rumble with the Stonehorn. And it is just a regular Stonehorn, so there's no armor-piercing missile attack, but a very unfortunate. The Dread Saurian turns around to just chew on some Pigback Riders. The Pigback Riders actually in the surround as well with sporting Iron Guts. Looking pretty rough. Right now, the Dread Saurian's not taking quite enough damage to break its leadership, but oh no, the rear charge from the Stonehorn. Saurian does turn around to prevent it from being a rear charge, but even still, with that charge bonus active, it's enough to rout away the Saurian. Got some screening horned ones here. And yeah, the Salamander's also firing, trying to take down, but the Stonehorn's missile resistance obviously coming into pretty big play here, and just kind of surveying the battlefield overall. A lot of the elites for the Ogres are still alive. We see a little bit of a penetration trying to happen here. The Iron Blaster did end up taking quite a bit of damage. We've got the Saurus Spears and other units trying to push through and get on these ranged units, but yeah, the Lead Belchers set and firing once again. Cold One Spear Rider is going to at least rear charge this unit and shut them down. Yeah, should be able to actually finish them off, despite the weakened state of the Cold One Spear Riders. Dismember being used on them does deal some damage. Yeah, they won't get more than that one Lead Belcher at least. But, yeah, Crusher's also moving in with a nice Troll Guts, keeping them good and healthy here as they finish off some more key units. Iron Blaster pulling away. So, yeah, the one Iron Blaster, the Lead Belcher, still left online. Meanwhile, the Saurian also coming back here in the back line, does manage to get somewhat of a good engagement, gets a bunch of HP damage against the Stonehorn. Of course, that also can be healed. A lot of healing cap, basically all healing cap space left on that Stonehorn, but some great chasing of routing units also by the Sabertusk pack. We can see a lot of the Lizardman stuff just kind of running for the hills is also very bad. Slon gets caught. Commodore Ribbit here getting smacked by the Crushers, trying to float on out, but ultimately, again, not enough elements to screen here. Crushers just kind of having their way. This unit then heal cap, 2,600 damage value. Another unit of Crushers here, like 1,589 on damage value. Ogres, man, Taco put together an absolute Death Star of an army in this season of Warband, and ends up taking home the win there and decisively winning the tournament. I will say, I didn't fare much better. In fact, I fared significantly worse. Taco even offered to replay the game for me because it was so bad, and it went slightly better, but still very bad. So I am more than happy to give Flying Taco the crown for this season of Warband. He is the true Warbander of us all. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, Iron Guts putting in a pretty solid performance. Goldbag's Man-Eaters also do an okay job. I mean, they're kind of just like more expensive Iron Guts here. But yeah, the ranged units and the cavalry working very well in tandem to keep Gepetors locked in jail and pummel him with gunfire. Definitely quite effective. Yeah, ultimately, that's going to be the units that pay for themselves. I mean, Stonehorn also does a good job tanking a lot of damage, should be said. On Gepetors' side, I mean, yeah, I was able to clear out some chaff pretty decently, and like ultimately, some of these supporting elements do end up paying for themselves. But, of course, in Warband, you can't purpose build your army into anti-large, which ultimately meant that the Ogres, I think, had an advantage that they wouldn't normally have in like a regular, land battles tournament, right? Because you're not picking your army based on your opponent's faction. You're just choosing whatever units you want, maybe based on a theme or whatever you think is good, right? Ultimately, you do run into sort of more generalist builds that aren't going to have the specialized tools maybe necessary to take down Ogres, but Gepetors gave it a great attempt, and his Lizardman build definitely was pretty scary overall. So fun stuff. Big thanks to Shetland for putting the season together and for all the participants who joined. It was so much fun. Thank you all so much for watching. Got a ton of support on the Warband videos, so I appreciate you all so much for joining me through this journey. I'll definitely be joining next time Shetland hosts another Warband series. I don't know. If I had more time, I would even probably host one myself over the summer. We'll see. I probably won't have time, but I can dream, right? Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.